Hello YouTubers. Grumpy old man in the workshop. Got to get some stuff done. Troll and Raymond said I should show off some of my leather work. Do it at the same time. So, for those of you who don't know, I'm the Leathersmith. I'm in fact Canada's only true Leathersmith. And what I'm going to work on today is I have an old set of binoculars. The strap has seen better days. In fact, one whole section of it is missing. And I'm going to replace it with a new strap today. So, you could fast forwarding as needed, but I'm not going to. I'm just going to do the whole production. Cut off the old strap. I'm going to save the buckle. Sometimes the best way to remove them, I have found, is a pair of side cutters. Just nip the leather off where you need to. I have a really good pair of scissors with stubby tips. They are probably in my bag, which didn't make... Oh, there's a pair. I'll show you the stubby tips on the end. That helps so when you make a cut and make another cut, you get your squares. And with the tougher leather, you don't want to bend or chip the tip of a pair of scissors, say, with a bit of a point to them. I have scissors specifically for the leather. Then I have scissors for paper, and scissors for fabric. So what I did was throw that strap away without measuring the width. But I have a cutting board here with the measurements on it. I can just lay it down and say, okay, 5/8. For those of you that are into the metric, I'd flip it around, but my strap cutter will tell me both. So it's about 1.5 centimeters. I want to err on the side of narrower instead of too wide, for fear that my strap is too big. One of the things I have upcoming is I'm go to the library and the kids make their own leather bookmarks. So I cut the leather off the hide myself. This one didn't get turned into bookmarks, so I'm going to use that one as my piece to do this job. The strap cutter, it's an adjustable, different measurements, and I can adjust for thickness. You see, you have a piece of leather in there, it's a bit of a shim, and I can adjust those two screws holding the blade for thickness as well. It helps if I can get a better grip on the end of that leather. Get it started. There we go. So I use my thumb to help hold it against the strap cutter. Not too much. It'll fold a little bit inside. I also use my belly, my waist, to hold it into place. And it's got a little wonky at the end, which is what happens. So it didn't go as straight at that end. But you can see how, because it's fairly thin, and I didn't adjust much for thickness, it's a little wider, a little narrower, and then it gets down into a steady width. So what happened at that end is the leather folded a little bit this way inside, but I'm not too concerned about it for the most part till I get down to the end. It starts to get a little narrower right about here, and when I try and fit it in at the keeper side, it doesn't matter that it's just a touch wider at this end, it still slides through. And then when I come to the other end, I'll have that same problem. But what I can do is decide how much length I want and put the buckle there. Then reverse my strap. This binocular case been kicking around for, I've forgotten it was mine actually. And I didn't realize it was. I could have picked it up somewhere. The intention of doing the strapper could have been kicking around for that long. Okay. So then, in the toolbox, you need those cases. I have some new punching boards, and I'm just trying to think, what did I do with them? They're that new. Did they get put away somewhere? Why is it you can't find anything when you want it? They are new to me, and I know that they're out here, and I haven't used them yet. And I'm just going to have to take a moment to think, you know, where did I put them? But in the meantime, I'll come up with another one. Because I have a bunch of them. These ones are just from the dollar store, for when I'm doing round pouches and stuff. But now I'm really thinking, okay, idiot, what'd you do with them? Where'd you set them? Somewhere. And I've hidden them. Yeah, I know exactly where now. See? I had used them when I did a Maker's Day at a school in Perth. So, there's my board. Put this round one away. It's the cutting pad from a clicker for cutting dies, for cutting the pieces out. Nice and thick. I don't use the cutting board that's on there for punching holes. I do have a rotary punch, the kind you squeeze. I try not to do the squeezing. What I use instead are drive punches, where you can replace the tips. Just screw them in, screw them out. I have a punch that I carry with me somewhere in here, unless it's hanging up, that you can change the tips, just like this. And I have a bunch of them with handles. Let me show you here. With different sizes, depending on whether I'm doing rivets or snaps, lacing or stitching. So I look at one that's a suitable size. And I have packed all my mallets too, haven't I? Because I am going to the library in the village of Lanark Wednesday, March break here. Kids are going to make their own bookmarks there. So I've got everything left packed up from last time, knowing that I'm going back out again. So I've got my holes punched for that end. And then I can come up a little bit and decide where I want to put my buckle. And I can trim off just a tiny bit on the corners. roughly how much I need for my buckle. Give it a squeeze. And I have a slot punch. And I can clean it out at the other end. I'm offsetting it a little bit from the fold because once you fold it over, you have to have enough in the slot to allow the pin to come up all the way. You don't want to center it on the fold because then your pin can't come up. And then I can do the rivet that holds for allowing me to rivet. So there's a strap that will support the buckle. And I was saying about the slot, turn my buckle the right way around so that the curve on the pin lays down properly. Okay, so I've got a little, so that pin can stand up. Move back out of the way. If I centered that too much, then there's not as much room to allow it to go all the way up. Is that making sense? I think so. So there's that piece. Then the other piece will have its fold matching what's there to attach to the keeper. And I'm just taking the tip off the corners. Make my fold. So you have witnessed me using the first time, punching holes with that. So then I can put that piece on there. And bring that up and around and meet the buckle on the other side. Okay, so that's going to meet the buckle right about there. Anywhere in that range. I'm a little long in the shoulder. But then I get down to where I get to the narrower part here. Remember that? We showed you that earlier. You know? And I can put my holes anywhere in there. And I change punches because I need a smaller hole than rivets. I need to match the buckle. There's not going to be a whole lot of adjustment on it. It's not needed. Throw it over your shoulder if I need to really trim it down. I can cut it twice, but it'll still be too short. So there's that end. Finished and ready to go. At this point I can put some tools away that I know I'm not going to be needing for the next step in the process. Piece of scrap. Now I'm using vegetable tanned leather. Think of like oak tannin. That's the inner bark of the oak tree. In South America it's quebaco with a Q. And that allows me to wet it, shape it, dye it, stamp it, tool it. Whatever color I want it to be. now I have a board just for that. Use my back. This board goes inside my trailer when I do shows. Slips underneath my tickle trunk. Pull it out when I need it so that I'm not getting dye all over the top of my work table. I think my dyes are in the house. So, I haven't figured out the editing part yet. Yes, Troll showed me an app to upload on my phone, but I don't know how to pause as opposed to stopping a video. Haven't learned that piece yet. So at this stage, I'm going to stop unless I can find some dye. I do have some bottles of dye. I may not have what I need. I buy dyes in gallons, but I did have some supplies of smaller leftovers from the family using it years ago. So I guess I'm stuck at this stage. So, stay tuned for part 2. Thank you very much.